Hey, 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 influencers. It's your girl here, Anika Cohen. I am your business strategist coach. And I want to first and foremost welcome you to day 11 in our 12-day series, 12 Ways to Dominate in the New Year. So we're at day 11, and this will be quick but impactful. Quick but impactful. Day 11 is all about unplugging. Again, we have to be intentional about what we do and why we're doing it. And most times what happens is we find ourselves competing and comparing. We find ourselves running against time. And when you're doing all of those things, the only person that is being affected is you. Your friends, of course, your family, those individuals that are closest to you. But ultimately, you are the only one that's affected when it comes just to your well-being, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Think about it. When you are overwhelmed with the cares of life, when you are racing against the clock, right? When you are comparing and competing on social media, it will take a toll on your well-being. It will take a toll on your well-being because you're operating from the wrong space. Let's be clear about that. We're operating out of the wrong space. That's why I say operate from the space of intention, right? Operate from that space of intention, of strategic movement, being clear about what it is that I want and how I'm going to make this happen for me, right? Knowing what that looks like. So we always want to have mental clarity. We want to operate again in intention and strategy. Nothing wrong with that, because when we don't and we're just spinning our wheels, nothing gets accomplished. And you begin to create those emotions of frustration and anxiousness. And we begin to do things with an impulsivity, no clear direction. It affects you. So day 11 is all about unplugging. You have to unplug. Unplug from social media. Unplug from your responsibilities or tasks in life. You who are mothers, who are wives, who are in companionships. Listen, it's okay to step away from them roles, to have that self-care, to have that reflection, to have that rest. All right. So unplug. And you want to unplug as often as you need to. Unplug as often as you need to. All right. But you want to get in the practice of unplugging. And for most of us, sometimes we need to unplug from social media. It will consume you all day if we let it, right? Especially with those tiki-takis. That's what I call them, tiki-takis, because you will find yourself strolling and strolling, and you have wasted time. No productivity has taken place, and the day's gone. So I want you to get in the practice and the healthy routine of unplugging. Again, unplugging for each of us is going to look different, but you got to unplug. You have to unplug. You have to unplug. So I'm going to give you four tips, okay, on, again, unplugging, why you need to unplug, okay? Because it's one thing to know what to do. but you want to know why you're doing it. So throughout our 12 days together, yes, I have given you great information. I'm giving you some great tips, but it's very important that I tell you why to consider these things, why it is important, right? So why do I want you to unplug? Why is that beneficial to your well-being? Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Why is unplugging important? And I'm going to give you 4 tips on why it's important, why you must implement this strategy in your life. Number 1, you want to refuel. You want to refuel. All right, influencers. So, number 1, why you want to unplug is simply you want to refuel. You want to give yourself permission to refuel. You cannot serve, you cannot pour from an empty well. So you have to make sure that you do your due diligence, right, with refueling. Okay. So I always believe that we have a responsibility to self first. In order for me to serve you in the fullness and be effective, I have to make sure that I refuel. How do I refuel? I make sure that I go to webinars and master classes or even conferences that will, again, help me to master my skill at teaching and serving as a coach. I also make sure that I'm reading my word, that I pray, that I give myself permission to unwind, right? So I go to church. That's me refueling. Going to church, going to different services that are going to feed my spirit, that are going to pour into me, watching content maybe online that, again, that is going to pour into me, connecting or talking to my sisters that I talk to, venting and getting things out. That is me refueling because they are pouring back into me. So you need an outlet that will, number 1, be safe and give you the ability to pour back into you. So it has to be a no judgment zone. These have to be individuals or spaces that you can go to without any judgment, any bias. All right. So number 1, you want to refuel. You want to refuel, however that looks like for you. Again, for me, refueling is me calling my sisters, me having a conversation and then pouring into me, or church or different conferences to master my skill, because those individuals and spaces are pouring back into me. You want to refuel. You need your safe space. I cannot stress that enough. You need your safe space. You need that individual. You need those spaces to be able to go to so they can refuel you, so they can pour back into you. Number 2, rest. Unplugging is good because you need rest. Your body needs rest. Your body, it needs rest. It cannot work off of you alone. So you need to rest. You need your proper rest, sleep. You need to know when you need to step away, right? Give yourself that grace period, having that rest. So for me, what it looks like to rest daily is every Sunday, there's no social media for me. No social media. If you see me on social media on Sundays, it's pre-recorded. It's pre-scheduled, because that's my day of rest, to give myself mental clarity, to be productive in other ways. That's my rest day physically, to not be on any social media outlets. Again, what does it look like for you to rest? Yes, we want to rest physically, make sure you get proper sleep. But resting, again, we want this to be a routine that we practice. It's a part of our lifestyle. So how can you be creative in creating periods of rest for you to unplug? Number 3, you want to regroup. You want to regroup. It's very beneficial because it helps you to regroup your thoughts, regroup your feelings, because you can begin to reflect with honesty and intention. Come on here, somebody. This goes back to what, day 2? Reflecting with honesty and intention. So when you regroup, you're giving yourself permission to do those things. Reflect. Be honest about your role. Accountability. So you're regrouping, your TAA. You're tracking, assessing, and adjusting. Tracking, assessing, and adjusting. That's your regroup. You're getting your thoughts together. You're getting that mental clarity, right? And number 4, you are going to refocus. It helps you to refocus. Unplugging, again, it just gives you that recharge, you know, you're able to refocus, because if you got distracted, it's okay. Got frustrated, it's okay, right? You're giving yourself permission to refocus when you unplug, when you walk away, when you give yourself time to walk away, step back. Now I can re-strategize, I can analyze. It goes back to day 2. So for those of you who are definitely new to this experience, go back to day 2. Reflect with honesty and intention is a great training on how to be intentional with reflecting and analyzing, right? Being critical about the questions that we ask ourselves to get clarity and focus about whatever that is, so you can achieve the goal. So regrouping is definitely the last tip. All right, so let's recap this. Let's bring it all the way back together. Again, day 11 is about unplugging. This is a short training, but it's definitely impactful, because if you do not unplug, what happens? You go in cycles and circles. You're going nowhere. You're going nowhere. You're doing nothing. Cycles and circles. Hard pill to swallow. Hard pill to swallow. But if you want to grow, you will take this, you will receive it, and you will prosper. Come on here. So you want to unplug. Here are 4 reasons why you want to unplug. Again, to refuel, to get rest, to regroup, and to refocus. And the thing about unplugging is there's no specific time. There's no certain time frame. This is ongoing and as needed to help you dominate in the new year. This is a healthy practice, a healthy coping skill to implement in your everyday life to help you prosper. So choose to live, influencers. Choose to be liberated, improve daily, be vivacious, and enlighten. Until next time.